bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is a Monday edition of The Bottom Line. You've got us on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com. Clint Scott, Chris Snead, and Jackson Frazier behind the glass taking care of us. Hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Thoughts, comments, reactions to the weekend as a whole, to the game on Saturday. And there's a basketball game tonight. We'll have it on Double T 97.3. Men's basketball trying to go 3-0 as they host Louisiana Tech. Telvin Hester comes back on the staff last year. Now the head coach there for La Tech and the Bulldogs. How about the Tech to La Tech connection in both sports now?
Yeah. Assistants at Tech, both head coaches there.
Yeah.
I mean, if Gardner takes off and goes and becomes a baseball guy there, I'm gonna be soured. 3 for 3.
Little Texas Tech Junior over there.
Yeah.
This will be the last look for the basketball team as well before they take on a salty Creighton team to kick off the Maui Invitational.
Yeah.
That next Monday, a week from now. It is one of my top 3 sports times when you're having these late November football games that mean a ton to what the conference is going to shape out. And then you also have the Thanksgiving basketball tournaments that are all in these awesome places.
Yeah.
And this is when you really get your, for the most part, good looks at a bunch of teams across the country. And you are involved absolutely with that this season in the Maui Invitational and starting out with Creighton. Reaction to the win over the Jayhawks?
It's good. I'll be the first one to say I was wrong. Glad to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I said on these airways I guess it was Wednesday of last week.
Mm-hmm.
I said 38-31 Jayhawks. Said I didn't think we could contain them in the running game. Struggled a little bit to do that, but I don't think any of us took into account how bad Kansas's defense is and their inability to stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to see any of the game live. I purposefully on Saturday night disinvested myself of that game because I didn't want it to. I was going to have a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
My game was I had a game at 11 a.m. in Kentucky, and it snowed. So all y'all that were complaining it was too cold, freaking snowed in my game.
I was a little jealous. I would be. I wanted it to be even colder.
No. Everyone thinks that's pretty cool unless you got to participate in the game.
Sure. Right. Right.
All you guys up in the stands are raising unshirted cane. There's about 50 Kentucky students in the end zone. I mean, I'm telling you, it's like high 20s and sleeting and raining. And these Hanyaks are over there, they didn't spell anything out. There's like 50 dudes that, all they lack was a pair of overalls. And they're just sitting there. I look at these guys. They kept putting them on the video screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, you guys. I mean, these guys, now they're probably all over the Quack Shack on the campus, the student health, right, saying, I've got a cold. I've got the common cold. Sniffles, runny nose. Yeah, we saw you, moron. Put a shirt on. Put on a jacket. Cover your head up. Anyway, I didn't see very much of the game until yesterday. I got to watch the game. I thought Tyler Shuck looked really good once again. Mm-hmm. As I said earlier, we love Tyler Shuck again. He's the savior. He's going to win us all the games. We're going to go to the big bowl and we're going to beat a team. So that's what we feel this week. And no one else is any good. Baron Morton, no. Donovan Smith, no. All Tyler Shuck all the time.
I think what's interesting, because Tyler Shuck probably had the most complete quarterback performance out of any of the three. If you go full game, Baron Morton was really good against West Virginia. So that's probably the one kind of game by game contender, right?
Yeah.
I just think that it was very encouraging though to see him answer the bell, right? Because this is what you wanted to see out of him. Well, really, you wanted to see it out of him for 12 regular season games, a Big 12 championship game, and then wherever you went after that, right?
Yeah.
Obviously gets hurt early, but the bounce back was huge to me, and he did everything that you wanted to see out of the quarterback position. I mean, I thought he saw the field well. Now, again, you mentioned it, though, because this Kansas defense is bad. And, I mean, we did say that last week.
Yeah.
Now, the difference is, I mean, when you look at TCU's defense, now Texas might disagree, but heading into that game, TCU's defense wasn't just setting the league on fire. It wasn't world beaters. It was they were winning games by just flat out outscoring people, and the offense looked bad against them. The offense looked bad clearly against Baylor. It struggled in Manhattan. It was doing well in Stillwater until Morton went down. And so bad defense or not, that was the question was, well, how is the offense going to look as a whole? And you saw a running game, which was massive.
Yeah. It was good to see Sir Roderick get it going, Taj, everybody, Cameron. I was really excited to see all of that. I think there's still some things that this team can work on. I mean, we hadn't had a chance for this offensive line to show any real continuity with a quarterback because every time things get going, a quarterback goes down. Mm-hmm. Just as much as an offensive line works with each other, they got to get used to cadence and continuity of a quarterback back there because every center, that center guard, relationship, that center quarterback relationship, just because you put a guy back there doesn't mean he does it exactly the way the other guy did it. The count, the cadence, everything. Everyone's different. It's a little bit different in how they, that pause. You get a guy that does that clap and that fake clap, and then he's gonna pause 1, 2, 3, clap. Some guys may not do that. That 1, 2, 3. It might be 1, 2, clap. It might be 1, 2, 3, clap. And you can deke your own offensive line,
right?
And because those guys they get used to something, and all of a sudden a new guy's in there, and he's got just a little tinge of a different.
Well, it's like it's react to the snap, right? Well, you can say that all you want, but still sometimes when you get used to it, you're ready to go, and you want the upper hand.
Absolutely,
it's
Look
the same
at the
thing.
Ball!
Yeah,
look at the ball.
It's the same thing from a wide receiver standpoint, from the offensive line standpoint, from the running. I mean,
everyone says that just watch the ball. They're sitting up there in the 11th row, and they're saying that does very easy to do that, until you have to do that.
I'll tell you the biggest stat, maybe not the biggest, but one that should certainly jump out from worries. Now, again, you're moving on past a Jayhawks team that you said it. I mean, nailed it. You still have plenty to work on. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt. But you look at your next two opponents, and now, if you're not bowl eligible, I think you're extremely, extremely disappointed if you go 0-2 over the next ones.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at it like this: you're facing two teams behind you in the standings. However, you're facing two teams behind you in the standings who have traditionally really had their way with you over the last decade. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you have the 62-yard field goal against Iowa State to beat them at home last year. When was the last time we beat Iowa State before that?
It would have been Mahomes, right?
I mean, did Mahomes get beat like 45-3 up there? Like
right,
his worst start as a Red Raider came in Ames, Iowa.
I thought he got Iowa State once though.
Did he get him one time here? So I mean, that's putting it back into the 2012 range, 2013, 2014. If there's always something we can use to look that up.
Yeah.
I mean, and when was the last time you beat Oklahoma? I'm thinking that's isn't that the thunderstorm peanut butter and jelly night? Torres touchdowns all over the place.
That's a fun way to title that.
Well, hey, thunderstorms, peanut butter and jelly, and Torres touchdowns, because that's basically what that game was about. That was the same night that the Texas Raiders almost won the World Series. Chuck Hines and I both had a bet that if the Rangers won, we would strip down to nakedness and run naked down our driveways, both of us. And so the Rangers were down to the final out. I had my shirt off. Chuck and I were on the phone with each other. Are you going to do this? I got my shirt off. Are you going to do this?
So 2015, Patrick Mahomes.
So it's
what is that? Campbell's first year there.
6 years.
66-31.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying, but still,
I mean,
when you look at what they have now, Brock Purdy is long gone.
Yeah.
Kolar's long gone. Breece Hall is long gone.
Yeah.
Defense legit over at Iowa State. Offense the exact opposite.
Well, and that's the thing. They're uglying up these games and making them difficult. Like my buddy Oscar Shorten says, if you can't make the tackle, just make a pile right there. That's what he's doing.
A big thing though for me from Saturday, one of two on fourth down situations because hey, you didn't put yourself in all that many. More of the bottom line on 100.7 The Score next.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Oh, gentlemen, we picked some games for blind participants on Friday. In a word, wolf. Clint Scott with Jamie Lynn and Jackson Frazier. It's the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Now, Jamie, you weren't here on Friday, so we did something very special for you. And I would like to lay out the options. Because I thought, I could text him and give him the games, and he could give me his picks and his responses. And then I also thought of this about 5 minutes before we were supposed to go on. So we gave you options. We want you to have options,
you
right?
Want me to have options?
So we had Josh Jamie pick for you, and then we had Coin Jamie pick for you. We gave you two options without knowing what they picked. Lay them out for you. You going to go Team Josh, or do you want to be Team Coin? Who is representing the real Jamie? Will the real Jamie please stand up?
I'll take Team Josh Jamie.
Oh, man. I really wanted you to pick Coin Jamie so I could tell Josh he didn't trust you.
I have a healthy amount of respect for Josh, so he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would sabotage.
What's an unhealthy level of respect? Like licking his keyboard or something? That seems pretty weird.
I think when people have unhealthy amounts of respect, they think that certain person cannot do any wrong. Like they're unaccepting that they're a human and they have faults.
Bill Self's hair is real and he did nothing wrong, Jamie.
Maybe like some people's thoughts about Joey Maguire before the season started. It's like, slow down just a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
14-0 seems a little bit of a leap there.
We want Bama, we want him right now.
Yeah, right.
Speaking of wanting Bama.
The same kind of respect that I have for Tony Kukoc.
Sure.
Right.
The Spider from East Side. Where? Split. That one doesn't rhyme. They need to all rhyme. Come on. If one's going to rhyme, they all have to rhyme. That's the rule.
Why did you not go with Orida? Like, the French fry?
The French fry?
The spider from Orida.
Those are great.
It's Spider from Split.
What's the other one?
The Croatian Sensation.
Oh, yeah. See, that rhymes.
Yes.
That's more memorable, except I couldn't remember what it was.
Mm-hmm.
The Croatian Sensation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The best one.
I like the spider from
Orida.
Orida. The spider who's also Florida. Speaking of Alabama, Jamie, that's the first game up on the docket. The 9th-ranked Crimson Tide they were 12-point favorites on the road at Ole Miss. Now, you picked Josh Jamie, just to confirm before we get to it. Not Coin Jamie.
Josh Jamie.
Josh Jamie picked Alabama, who won 30-24. They did not cover.
Come on, Josh.
Jackson, myself, and Coin Jamie all pick up a point. We moved to Nebraska at Michigan. Michigan was a 31-point favorite. They won by 31 points. 34-3. Sometimes Vegas nails it. Congratulations on Josh Jamie picking Michigan, as did Jackson. Myself and Coin Jamie did not get a point, but Jackson is ahead 2-1. Very happy for you, Jackson. 25th ranked Washington at 6th ranked. Oregon was the third game we picked. Oregon was a 13.5-point favorite. Not only did Washington cover, they beat them 37-34. We all picked Oregon. All wrong. Kansas State at Baylor. Baylor was a 2.5-point favorite. We all picked Baylor. Kansas State won 31-3. None of us got a point. This week went well. Let me go ahead and tell you.
I mean, this conference is so confusing at times.
And I didn't see if Adrian Martinez, if he got knocked out of the game. I just know that he played, and then Will Howard threw 3 touchdowns. And that's essentially all that I saw from it. And then Blake Shapen threw 2 interceptions. And just when I thought Baylor had everything rolling, Kansas State said timeout.
Me too. Yep.
The next game we picked, Iowa State at Oklahoma. The Cyclones were a 1-point favorite.
You know what the worst part about the Baylor loss was?
Huh.
It was the realization to me they're not going to beat TCU.
No, I don't think so. I thought the toughest game on their schedule was there in Austin, and now part of that is Quinn Ewers as a quarterback.
Quinn was horrible.
It was terrible. Which is, he could have a rhyming nickname, Quinn the Win, but he didn't do that. I wouldn't want that. And you know what's funny is that Arch Manning is there live at the game, just like, oh yeah, get me here now. That was awful. Iowa State at Oklahoma State. Iowa State was a 1-point favorite. Oklahoma State won 20-14. Everyone picked Iowa State except for Jackson. Jackson is now a 3-1 commanding lead.
I would have picked Oklahoma State.
Well, Coin Jamie and Josh Jamie both disagreed. So from the 3 Jamies, the Jamie Fecta.
Maybe I shouldn't have taken 35 trips to Tascosa last week.
Well, that sounds terrible. Speaking of TCU Texas, that's the next game we picked. Texas was a 7-point favorite, and I thought that was ridiculous. TCU won 17-10. Josh Jamie picked TCU.
Jamie would have picked the Longhorns.
Jackson must have also picked TCU. The Coin Jamie agreed with Real Jamie, but did not pick up a point. It is now Jackson 4, Josh Jamie, myself 2, Coin Jamie 1. Oklahoma was at West Virginia. They were an 8-point favorite. You know who the lone pick for West Virginia was in this game?
Josh Jamie.
Josh Jamie.
Yes.
He starts to round it up. Josh Jamie pulling through at the end. Jackson is up now. The score is 4-3, 2-1. That's a fun line. Finally, we had Kansas at Texas Tech. You know Josh Jamie picked in this?
He better have picked Texas Tech.
He picked Kansas. He picked Tech to win, but Kansas to cover. The line was 3.5. He picked a 3-point win for Texas Tech.
Well, my pick was like 33-30 Red Raiders, so ultimately I would have had to have picked Kansas as well.
So he didn't stray. Only one other person picked Kansas of the 4.
You.
Yes. Actually, Coin Jamie here, his score was 40-28. He had the closest one.
How did
Almost
Coin
nailed it.
Jamie pick a score?
I just threw out a score. And by that, I mean the Coin did a lot of research and a lot of opinions. Jackson and Coin Jamie picked Texas Tech. Jackson wins the week with a 5-3 record. Josh Jamie comes in second with a 3-5 record. Thus, the Real Jamie gets a 3-5 record. I went 2-6, and so did the Coin. It was fantastic. That moves our overall records to Jackson at 39-33 with his 7th win of the year, just completely dominating. Jamie is now at 32-40. I am 35-37. I wasn't negative before this week. That was double bad. That was double bad.
It's a bad deal, man.
Jackson liked going against an AI.
He did.
It was fun.
It was fun because the Coin went 2-6. I thought the Coin was gonna go, no matter what happened, was gonna go 8-0. I thought maybe I should let the Coin go first, and I'll just pick exactly what the Coin does. And essentially, I had the same record, so I might as well have. Woof. Clint can speak Coin Jamie. Do you not see that on his resume? It's a special skill, I'll grant you.
He speaks a lot of things.
Oh, man. Winning by 31, being a 31-point favorite, means no winner. It's a tie, a push. And we tick the spread. So that's how we're rolling. Bobby Hot Dog says maybe we could get a Kaylee's Dailies over the Doinkopotamus. A la Kansas's kicker. Twice.
Oh.
Said
Yeah.
it's so nice, I'll do it twice.
That was pretty fun.
I mean,
At least they got a Fat Boy TD out of the deal. I'm always a fan of the Fat Boy TDs.
I did get to see my hero, Jared Casey, score a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
I don't even think Tech fans after that play were mad because they're like, oh, it's Jared Casey. All right, we like that guy. Way to go, Casey.
Conference hero, Jared Casey. I hope
everybody loves him.
I hope
Great American hero.
I hope this week on, which I hope also that Sark is still wearing the outfit he wore to TCU and he looked like a old school minivan. I hope on their board this week for Kansas, he was like, all right, this is Jared Casey. Memorize his face. Target number 1.
I'm still trying to figure out how a human looks like an old school minivan.
I'll show you the design on it. Kind of like a Burger King wrapper. Sark the Walking Whopper.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you. It was weird. More next on 100.7 The Score is Take versus Take.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Time for the fastest growing game show in the world, Take versus Take, a Monday edition. Got the bottom line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. Don't forget to take us anywhere with the mobile app as well. Clint Scott with Jamie Lent and Jackson Frazier. Jackson and I are your competitors. See what Jamie brings to the table.
I haven't
very high expectations.
I haven't taken away any points as the question asker recently.
There was a tragedy that happened on Friday, by the way. I
How's
just
Josh
realized we
doing?
kind of went out of order because Josh had the questions. My fault. But it wasn't Josh Jamie. It was just Josh Jamie picking. So
Does Josh
sorry.
have any wins yet in Take versus Take?
No, Josh is, I think, the way it's lined up, he's only been on Take versus Take once.
Oh,
He's
okay.
usually there on the first hour. But I got robbed. Let's see if I get robbed again today.
Yeah. You know, tomorrow, Chris Snead and I are going to switch, and I'm going to do the first 2 hours. He's going to do the last hour. You should save Take versus Take for the last hour to let Snead play.
I bet he would really enjoy that.
I bet he would really enjoy that.
I'm going to make him ask questions.
And since we have other colleagues that go out of their way to make Chris unhappy, maybe you could go out of your way to make him happy.
Okay, I've got the questions tomorrow.
Okay.
That's a real good answer, Chris. Point Jackson.
Oh, man, you guys are mean. All right. Here we go. Clint, you go first. The answer cannot be Chris Beard. Who is currently your most disliked coach in all of sports?
Hmm.
He has to be an active one.
Okay. Dang it. Took Urban Meyer out of the running.
Mm.
I can't stand Bob Huggins. I can't. And it's still kind of the same just rough edges that's happening. Same thing you've been used to. Just kind of and some people might like it. I'm sure West Virginia likes it. And just kind of how he comes off as a jerk, arrogant. And when you add on it that it's still happening and you look at West Virginia basketball and they really haven't been that good the past few years. And it's just his little Huggins stool. It's just something about him that has always bugged me. And I still, of all the teams that I don't want to lose to, right behind Kansas State, West Virginia usually comes in at number 2. Can't stand it. It's got a punchable face. People have said that about me too, though.
I feel like I'm not going to get the point here, but mine's Mike McCarthy for the Cowboys. I just think he's a fill-in. I don't like him because I just don't think he does really anything for the Cowboys. I think he just kind of fills in a job and the coordinators do everything else, and he's just technically the head coach. And he kind of also has a punchable face to me. He's a mouth breather.
Okay.
He's a mouth
Well, I'm
breather.
definitely going to give the point to Clint on this one. I don't disagree with you about McCarthy. I don't know about the punchable face part. I don't think he's a great coach. I don't think highly of him, but I can't stand Bob Huggins. His arrogance and just like he's like the leftover of the past generation of coaches who just bullied everybody around him. I bet he's horrible to work for. I bet that like the support staff people, I bet they just can't stand the dude. I mean, the trainers and sports information director. I mean, everybody probably walks around on eggshells around him. I bet he's miserable to be around.
Too bad, and he bullied Oscar Sheboy right over to Kentucky, so
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Yeah, genius. All right, question number 1 goes to McClint. Question number 2. Jackson, you go first. I need to word this correctly. What is your favorite thing to do in the snow?
What was the original wording?
What's the best thing to do in the snow? I was afraid Jackson would come up with something that was not for air.
I honestly love just like, I don't know if it would be really building a snowman because I don't really finish out the rest of its features. I just like stacking as much snow as high as possible as I can.
It's like a snow wall,
Basically.
snow tower.
And I just want to see like how high I can get it. And if I can start like using a ladder, I've gotten it like 10 feet before.
Sweet. That's
But-
impressive.
I don't really like snowball fight or anything. I just want to see how tall I can pack it on.
Last time I was in a snowball fight, man, I smacked my mother-in-law right in the forehead.
On purpose?
It was one of those deals where you're like throwing at someone that you think you don't have a chance of hitting.
So you were trying, is the answer.
I mean, it was a good distance away, and like my kids were there, so all 3 of them were there, and it was like, I'm going in that direction of those 3. No. She was a great sport about it. She still laughs about it to this day.
She dropped like a sack of rocks.
No, she did not. And luckily, it didn't have any ice or rocks in the snowball, so just made for a puffy-faced mother-in-law.
I'm absolutely team snowball fight. I mean, it's now this maybe I'm not going to get the point because of this, but Choice and I,
Yep,
one
you
on
mentioned
Thursday,
Choice's name, you lost
talking
the
about
point.
how like fun dirt clod wars were and crabapple fights were. This is like the safe-ish version of it, but also like is one of the more warm things. Just something satisfying about throwing something at a person that knows it's coming, and it's not just like your mother-in-law standing over there waiting to
Oh,
snipe
she
her.
knew it was coming. She was firing at me, too.
Snowball wars are just a blast.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying to hit, and especially you get a good one, and you hit like the chest of someone, and it just goes poof, it just disintegrates.
Mhm.
Ah, man, worth it.
I like running inside with the snowball, like the first one, and then like throwing it at somebody inside and then running away. I don't really like the whole war part, just kind of like that sneak attack first one.
You just started your guerrilla snow warfare is what you are.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with Clint on this one. I think the snowball fight is pretty fun,
Jackson.
especially if you have children. I mean, it's
the only way they obey, right?
No, not so much. It's just like you can get away with it, right? It's like one of those things. Actually, my favorite thing back to do when I was a kid, when, of course, living in New York, the snow plows would push all the snow up together, and so you'd have these huge mounds, and building tunnels in there, which probably is not safe at all, but building tunnels in there was a blast.
You know what's
or like igloos, creating igloos in there.
Jackson, igloos are cool because yours just sounds like work to me.
No, his was fun too. I don't mind
Stacking
making
snow.
a snowman.
You guys ever drift dove before?
Drifto.
Like, you know where the blizzards make the big drifts and you can jump into them because it's safe because you
Sure.
have to like measure.
Yeah.
We used to do that. Like our wall up beside our house
Mm-hmm.
would get, like if it caught the wind the right way, would just get super piled up.
So
and so
you-
we could jump off of the roof
Off the
into it.
roof, yeah.
That was super fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I do it now.
I wouldn't suggest you do that. All right, Clint has the victory, but Jackson's going to try to avoid the sweep. Clint, you're going first on this one. Okay, our man Hax is going to Hawaii with the Red Raider Hoops team later this week. If you were the play-by-play man for Tech football, where would you love to go call a Tech game?
And it can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be like the ones on the schedule, right?
Oh.
Just dream
I mean,
location.
Well, I mean, it's got to be somebody with a college football team.
Canada's College of the Moose. I think it would immediately go to just places I want to go watch a game. I would love to go, as much as I hate Ohio State, I want to go see a game there so badly, preferably against Michigan. That's like the dream game. But if I could say, boy, go watch Texas Tech play Ohio State. Plus, it's an awesome opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Well, it wasn't too long ago that we did that.
like a decade ago?
I think it was a little bit more than that. Yeah, because it was before I got here, but it was their national championship year.
Okay, so but if I was calling a game, send me there. Like that would be
Maurice
awesome.
Claret was his freshman year when he was great. You remember that name?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Good old running back.
Yep.
And it's, I mean, I'm not thinking like the Maui part for basketball is awesome, right? Because you're past just the arena. Mine's totally arena based of wanting to go see a game in that stadium.
Okay.
I have otherwise I would never say, boy, where do you want to go on vacation? The state of Ohio.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, you're going to call a football game. Yeah. How about you? How about you, Jackson?
I think mine would just be LSU Stadium. Just the craziness of that environment down. And, yeah, also being in Louisiana would be a plus too for the night or whatever the weekend that it is. But it's just a crazy environment. It's always been one of the top ones, especially since like I've kind of been in the college football world. So I think that'd be a pretty cool place to experience.
Jackson wins this one in such a blowout fashion. He gets 3 points for it.
Okay.
Jackson wins 3-2.
See, if you go back in the tape, though, you said Clint already had the win, so you can't do that. No Gibbsy's backsies. You can't do that, Jamie. Already locked it down, wrote the dub down on the board. Clint's got your take versus take winner today. More bottom line when we come back 100.7.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It's a Monday edition of The Bottom Line. You got us on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. I was your take versus take winner today. It's been sealed. Been finished. No arguments. Clint Scott with Jamie Lent and Jackson Frazier, the user. Why didn't you play the "You Like That" for you? We had 2 call for it on the chat line.
Jackson.
They're calling it for me.
No, they're calling it for me. You like that? You like that? Do you?
No.
Jackson,
Okay.
one of the things I've always said to my children, you know, like they'll tell me about like somebody on social media bragging about what they've done or whatever, or how good they are. And I always tell them, you know, those that brag about how good they are usually aren't. It's the people that are silent that are usually the great ones.
The one who was bragging still had the win, though, so I
I'm
feel
just-
like I can back it up right now. I see where you're going. I wasn't the one giving out points, so
That's just all I'm saying, Jackson. I'm just going to leave it at that.
all I'm saying is it was a well-deserved win today. Just feel very humbled
Yeah,
to be here.
Yeah.
Just want to thank my teammates,
God ain't done with you yet.
my parents, my accountant. The one time, the one guy that gave me both kinds of fries, curly and the straight ones, when I just had curly, that guy.
That guy definitely deserves to be thanked in your speech.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Feels good to win. Feels good to not have a tarnished record today.
It was an amazing comeback by Jackson. I mean, it was as improbable as a team winning a game after trailing by 4 inside of a minute, they got stopped at the half-yard line on 4th down and didn't score. And there was like 40 seconds left. Pretty improbable for them to come back and win, right?
Some would say I'm kind of the Wilt Chamberlain of take versus take because they have to change the rules just to beat me. So I'm just going to roll with that forever. Kansas great Wilt Chamberlain, by the way.
I have so many jokes.
Please, bring them. You're just bringing them to a winner. A winner that they have to keep changing the rules.
Goodness gracious.
We get this from Kobe. Building giant snow walls reminds me of the 10-foot snow thing that was on Tech Campus a few years ago. Still hilarious. Shelly says...
I can only imagine what that was.
Probably something inappropriate.
And probably Jackson was a part of making it.
Oh, yeah. Now I have so many jokes. Dang it. I'll just stay away. Shelly says, stacking snow made me mentally put Jackson in the Rocky IV Russian training montage. That's what I was picturing. Just seems like you're doing work. Bullfighter says, puffy-faced mother-in-law weed strain.
He took it like a champ.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, Bobby Hot Dog said, I have been on some of those builds before. Kobe says, Huggins has seemed like a grumpy old man for a while now. Bobby Hot Dog says Bob Huggins was probably born in Kansas. He seems like a New Yorker to me. With their rude deer.
Well, is he a West Virginia alum? Am I wrong in thinking that? Or was he a K-State alum? I can't remember.
That's a great
I think
question.
it's West Virginia. Huggins
Or was he a
like,
Cincinnati alum? Where else did he coach?
No, it was one of those two. I think it's K-State.
Sure,
It's
he's
just
not from Kansas.
Huggins
though.
to me was like a jerk for a long, long time, right? He's been,
Yeah.
I mean, forever he's been a big bully, and now he's a grumpy old man. But before he was just a jerk. You don't call grumpy old men jerks; they're just grumpy old men.
He was born in West Virginia.
Okay, so he's a West.
Oh, he was born in Morgantown.
Wonder if moonshine was involved.
I just thought they were happier over there. Bob Huggins is an angry man.
He's an angry man.
He's an angry person.
Mm-hmm.
He and maybe this isn't fair, but he and Jamie Dixon just remind me so much of each other. But Bob Huggins is like the extreme version.
I don't have the Jamie Dixon hate that most people do.
Mm.
He doesn't seem that grumpy to me.
He does to me.
He
Seems
does?
angry.
Okay.
It's time for Jamie's question of the day.
100.7 The Score is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
All right, I have a very, very basic one for you guys today. I just want to know what the best part to you of the win on Saturday was. Jamie, I'll let you take the floor first.
Should I just go with the elephant in the room here and say,
The score?
Clint had to freeze and watch his team lose at the same time.
I didn't freeze, though. I felt fine.
No,
I mean, I didn't have
I don't-
holy jeans.
I don't really mean that.
I wasn't.
I was asked in the press box if I had banned all Kansas fans to sit in our section, which I thought was pretty funny. I said yes. I said, get your backside out there in the cold. Yep.
You know what's funny? We walk in to the stadium. We see a little ice cream vendor right there, one of the sponsors. And I was like, that actually kind of sounds good right now. And I've eaten ice cream in the cold before, but maybe just like not that cold. And so kind of like jokingly, half not jokingly threw it out to like see if my wife was going to be like, yeah, we should like come get some at halftime or something. She was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And then like seriously 2 rows behind us, there was a family with very, very small children. And they were so upset because they were told they would be able to get ice cream at the game. They're like, Are you crazy? Now's not the weather for ice cream. And my wife just like looked at me.
Kids will eat ice cream anytime. Yeah. I think with me, the thing that was, I just thought that, and it's amazing when your offensive line is doing good things, how the playbook opens up and how everything seems to work.
Mm-hmm.
And you're happier with your offensive coordinator. You're happier with everything on the offensive side of the ball. But I thought the game plan evolved a little bit. And I was really happy with the fact that you saw the run game do great work. And that had something to do with the backs. That had something to do with the offensive line. And you didn't feel like you got away from it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't try to be, you didn't outthink the room, right? You're just like, hey, we're running the football well. Let's keep running the football well. And I thought the game plan evolved in that it looked to me, and we've talked about this, where in the past it looked like on third down you were trying to you weren't necessarily focusing on picking up a first down. You were like, hey, we got fourth down to work with here, so let's try something down the field. We'll take a shot, do those kind of things. It felt like second and third down in this game, you were trying to get first downs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And not using that extra down as that's our fallback plan. I could be completely wrong in that, but it just felt like offensively you evolved a little bit. We saw some making adjustments and changing up things. I thought the game plan as far as what was called for Tyler Shuck, not to put him in a lot of bad spots and not to ask him to throw the ball down the field too much or across the field, because I still don't think his arm strength is there. I just thought it was a well put together game plan that the offense really executed, and I think it starts with the offensive line played much better.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a lot of things. My bad.
This. We have a strict one answer rule on this show between all of us that we always.
I like that the
all
offense
follow.
evolved. That was my answer. Took me 10 minutes to get it out, but that was my answer.
Jackson?
I just like how well the running game did overall. It seemed like everybody was doing well, the offensive line, and kind of like how Jamie said, it was on the running backs, on the offensive line, they all played well. But I think it really just helped the offense keep going, and kind of how Jamie also talked about, they stuck with it. I think we've seen games where like a drive we'd get down the field and we ran the ball and we would score, and then the next drive it was a 3-and-out all passing plays.
Yeah.
And you're like, just why? Just ran the ball so well. Just keep doing that. And I think this last weekend we saw that they kept doing that.
Yeah.
And it was an integral part of their game.
Yeah, never lost confidence in the running game, even if they would, have a loss or, you'd get stopped. They just stuck with it.
Let us know what you think on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You can also answer the take versus take questions as well if you'd like. We'd love all that there. We'll be back with hour number 3 next, right here on 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is once again time to play No Diggity, a Monday edition today. Clint Scott with Jamie Lent and Jackson Frazier. We're live from the 100.7 Score First United Bank Studios. It's that time of day where I throw out a situation to Jamie, Jackson, and you, our fine listening audience. And with their digitometers, they tell us just how much diggity certain situation has. Jamie, what was the most surprising result in the Big 12 to you this weekend? If you're looking for scores, of course, West Virginia beat Oklahoma in Morgantown 23-20. Oklahoma State beats Iowa State at home 20-14. Kansas State on the road beats Baylor 31-3. Texas Tech beats the Jayhawks, of course, here 43-28. And then over in Austin, the Horned Frogs win 17-10 over Texas.
I'll take the K-State Baylor score.
Yeah. It's almost mind-boggling how bad that was. And I mean, mentioned it. I thought Baylor was at the point where it was, okay, well, this is just the time of year that you don't want to face them, and it was getting to the opposite for the Cats. And maybe it's just an overreaction to one game. They're at home losing to Texas. But I thought two teams on different sides of the spectrum right now of how you want to be playing at this point in the year. Two teams that just have to win and find their way into a Big 12 championship game. It's at home. It's at Waco. And, I mean, just a no-show on both sides of the ball, really.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would agree with you. The West Virginia one was just seemed interesting. I didn't think West Virginia was going to win a game, even though it was still Oklahoma. It's not a good Oklahoma team, but
Yeah, did not see that one coming. Thought Oklahoma State would handle Iowa State a little bit easier than they did.
mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there was a lot there this weekend. Thought Texas would handle TCU, right? I mean, I just thought I thought they would, especially playing at home. You see the Texas offense feels like it had gotten going once again, and then,
Mm-hmm.
man, Quinn Ewers just goes from 150 to 0 in a heartbeat.
And I picked TCU to win this game, so the result, as far as who won and who lost, didn't surprise me. Now the 17-10 though.
Yeah, and it wasn't that close.
No, it was a horrible mishandle late in the game that's run back for a touchdown. The offense didn't score a touchdown in this game for the Longhorns, and I mean I would have thought Texas at least reaches mid-20s at least, if not. And I thought this was going to be a little bit of a shootout type of game, and it was the polar opposite. And really, even for TCU, save really 2 to 3 drives. I mean, their offense got shut down too.
For the most part,
you look at the first half, and it was like punt, interception in there. And I don't know, but I'll tell you what, it's going to surprise me. And again, Big 12's tough, and you never know who's going to pop up. And now at this point, it's kind of like a popcorn effect. If Baylor comes back and does have a good game, I don't like their chances. But here's your no diggity situation of the day. And this is just regular season. This isn't through the Big 12 championship, and then what would at that point if it were to play out that way, probably into the college football playoff. But with Baylor on the road and then Iowa State at home, it's the lone undefeated team, the TCU Horned Frogs. They will be undefeated by the time they get to the Big 12 championship game.
I am at 90% no diggity.
Right about there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 96% no diggity.
Just a little bit more confident. I'm gonna back off just a little bit, but still pretty confident. I would put it at an 80% no diggity, because I think if Baylor plays like they did for a couple weeks there, they could absolutely win at home. But if last weekend or this past weekend against the Cats was indicative to anything, it's gonna be ugly in Waco.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy in a conference that has shocked me week after week that it's just gotten weirder and weirder, it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe part of that is because I didn't expect, even as I was kind of accepting that TCU was good this year, it probably starts with them, that I didn't think that they would be undefeated. Still, it's like I kept on waiting for them to lose a game and then, have a something in 1 record or a something in 2 record at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And all they've done is win.
Yep. Yeah, and they don't beat themselves. They turn the ball over a bunch. Even on some days, like this one on Saturday, they can win with their defense, which I wouldn't have been able to say a few weeks ago, because it felt like their defense was giving up a bunch of points. But I feel like twice now in the Red Raiders contest and also now the Longhorns contest, their defense has really been the thing that's led them. Offense has got going, but it's not been great offense. It's been really good defense of late.
Well, that was probably the smartest thing that they did on Saturday, was they saw how Quinn Ewers was playing. I said, let's not knock out this quarterback. Hold on. Just timeout.
Yeah, don't knock him out. Let him stay in the game.
Maybe we keep this opposing quarterback.
Yeah. I saw Texas
in the game.
media members at halftime asking for Ethan Card.
He's had a few games like that. That just when you saw what you got out of Card early in the season after he got knocked out.
Ethan, is that the right name?
Hudson. He just seems like he plays with a consistency. And there was the crazy thing to me is, when you go back to the start of the season over there and Hudson Card is announced as a starter, and then all of a sudden mysteriously by the time the game hits, the donors have done their magic and pulled the strings and said, no, we're not paying Quinn Ewers to be the backup here. From what you saw last year when he was battling Casey for that starting quarterback spot to this year, there was a big improvement. And you would expect it to, just because he was very young last year, and did get some Big 12 experience, did get some Division I play under his belt. But to see what you see at times from Quinn Ewers to Hudson Card was at least steady. And I mean, good enough to win games. But what you've seen out of him times like this, and then against Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I just don't know what you're getting out of Ewers. It can be really good. It can be really bad.
Mm-hmm. And given the two, I'd rather have the consistent play. The consistent, give me 28 to 35 a game.
Well, that's exactly what Joey McGuire and what Zach Kitley said this week, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the bigger upside, the bigger plays, the bigger wins have come from Donovan Smith. Mm-hmm. But you've also had, the bigger nightmares with turning the ball over.
Sure.
And they chose Tyler Shuck because they felt like maybe they're not as explosive. Maybe he doesn't have the bigger upside, but he's going to take care of the ball more.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
I do think, because you said you still didn't, and I don't think it's not what I would exactly qualify as a live arm, and he wasn't just slinging it, but I thought he looked better throwing the ball than he did.
Better, yes.
Maybe that's to do with the defense situation, having a week to prepare. I don't know what that difference was.
Maybe he's a little bit more confident because of all those things. I thought his decision-making was quicker. He just looked more confident in every decision that he made and quicker to, get rid of the ball or tuck and run. And I thought he looked really good running the football.
I mean,
a week of first-team reps and health and all that, kicking the rust off, surely all that's got to help.
To me, that was the best part of his game, was just taking what was given to him, either with the arm or more times than not with his legs. Yeah. And also, I mean, just because fair or unfair, there's still going to be questions about the health, right? About the durability. And do I love him throwing his shoulder into defenders right now? No. But the not having any fear with it. I felt like you had a hesitant Tyler Shuck when they were doing speed option after speed option after he comes in for Morton. And it seemed, and I don't know what the reason was, and maybe that was just because he wasn't confident with what he was seeing when there was a hole in front of him and when to go and when to pitch and all that. But, much different offense called this week when he took off and was scrambling. I didn't see any of that, which I thought was a great step as far as when you look now and you have 2 games left to get bowl eligible, and you're going to need that kind of play out of him, especially against an Iowa State defense that's really good, and it is still a road game in the Big 12. You're going to need that same Tyler Shuck moving forward. It's The Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, this day in sports history when we come back.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.